Every town has a ghost story that's been passed down through the generations. But what if those legends were true? My name is Miranda Young, and I'm the Ghost Biker. Hey everybody, happy Thursday night, and we are back on the Ghost Biker Garage. It has been a minute, and I do apologize for that, but this season has just been crazy busy, and just and actually I'm trying to get this banner here to tick across the screen here. There we go. You'd think I forgot how to do what I'm trying to do. There. So it has been just a little bit of time. Thank you all so much for bearing with us this month. We had a great show at the start of the month. It was a hard show to do. It was a remembrance to our dear friend Barry Gaunt, Bear, there at Octagon Hall. I know a lot of you folks know and love him. And, if you know about the hall, you know about that location. So, or you know about Bear himself. So, it was a good show. We did end up going back and reviewing that episode there from Octagon Hall. And it was a lot of fun. And so thought we would do that again. We had a couple early guest cancellations early on the month. So because we had been so busy, we just kind of decided to wait and start back a little bit later on this month. So thank you to everyone that has tuned in tonight. So we're just going to kind of go on here quickly and say hello to everyone. It's kind of a open show, freeform sort of thing tonight. Got some fun things planned. But for the most part, we're just going to kind of be sitting here talking a little bit. We're going to review my very first episode that we had that was on the Bleeding Mausoleum. So we're going to be talking about that. But like I said, let's first say hello to the folks over here in the chat room. We've got Mr. Ronnie Anderson here. Looking forward to seeing you there in April at St. Albans, which we're going to talk a little bit about here in a few minutes. Miss Susan Purcell, always good to see you. We've got to do some tours and guided ghost hunts with Susan, and she helped me out on our last event that we did there at Octagon Hall. So it's always good to see you, Miss Susan. Nancy Weems, hello. Hope you're doing well. We saw you in the last show there on Jailhouse Informant Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Always look forward to seeing you in the comments every week. Daryl Paulette, they're from Clover Hill Village. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward again to seeing you in April. And I hope that everything is going well there at Clover Hill Village. I know a lot of locations right now are closed or are on winter hours, gearing up for the very, very busy 2025. So hope all of these locations are doing well. I got to tell you, I'm sitting here. I look a little bit rough tonight because today we have worked all day in the jail working on exhibits as well as getting some art together and planning events. I mean, we were down and dirty, scrubbing around in the dirt there at the jail working to get things ready. So please definitely overlook everything that's going on here tonight. Hello to Angie and Shane McLean. I hope that some of you folks tuned in earlier this week. I was a guest on Shane's podcast there, and he is going to be my guest on my show coming up later on in February. We look forward to having the Reverend Shane on. We're going to be talking about some pretty cool topics. I know that's sort of a favorite of some folks whenever we talk demonology and kind of combine a little bit of religion and stuff in with the paranormal. To me, I think they go hand in hand. Some people have different opinions, but I feel like they go hand in hand, at least for me in my personal paranormal journey. Um, let's see here. Yeah, Nancy, it feels like my first time. It's funny how you step away from something for a few weeks, and it's easy to get a bad habit at that point whenever you've stepped away from doing this stuff. But I got to tell you, it's been one of our best Januaries yet, even though we're on our abbreviated January hours. Um, it's been very busy here as far as investigations and guided ghost hunts and daytime tours and stuff. It's actually thankfully been an extremely busy month. Hello from out in Arizona, Miss Janet. Hope you're doing well. Always good to see you on here as well. Yes, Shane says Dark Society Paranormal Podcast Mondays at 7. I really enjoyed being a guest on his show. Hope that I got to meet a lot of new people there in his audience, and we had a really cool and fun discussion. So Shane, thank you for having me on the show, and look forward to having you on mine as well. And as he says, his goal has always been to bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy. 100% there, man. I really do 100% agree with you on that. So, so if anyone has any questions or any comments tonight, we don't have a guest on, so don't worry about putting your comments in, or excuse me, your questions in all caps. Just feel free to put those on there. Sometimes when I'm moderating and I've got a guest on, I want to make sure that I don't miss any comments and such. But since it's just me and you tonight, just put them all in there in the comments. Don't worry about capitalizing stuff, because I'm definitely not gonna miss it, because I'm not doing as many things at one time. Hello to Jolly Jeffers Goins. Hope you're doing well tonight as well. So like I said, we've been getting things ready for kicking off the 2025 season and such. If you haven't been out to visit us here at the jail, hopefully you will at some point. Especially, now's a good time, because we are adding a lot of new exhibits here. Some of them are ones that we're actually building upon, that were exhibits that were already up at the jail. We're just expanding on those, and others are completely new exhibits. We're real excited. People have made a lot of different donations, put things on loan to us. And especially here, here now that we're at the bank building and we've got a couple new exhibits that we've added on here, we've opened up more space there at the jail. So we're really, really excited about that. The open space allows us to give more room for the investigators to be able to investigate in rooms that we haven't allowed them to investigate in before. It also allows us to be off-site during the investigation. We get to stay here at the jail. So if you haven't been, you can check us out at historicscottcojail.com. We've got the website there on the page, or you can go on to Facebook and look up Historic Scott County Jail. Couple things we've got. We're getting ready to go on to our February hours, and we're not quite 100% going back to our full-time schedule, but we will be open normal business hours, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the month of February. If you've traveled to the area and it just so happens that it is a day other than one of those days and you want to check us out at the jail, give us a call on our phone number that we have on the door there. It forwards directly to my cell. And if we are available, we would be more than happy to come and let you and your group in and give you a guided tour of the jail on any of those other days, as long as you reach out to us. Also, we let me pull this site address up here. Also, for Historic Rugby After Dark, we are offering some special things. Historic Rugby is closed during the winter hours. They're closed up until mid-March. But even though they're closed, we are open for all of our after dark events. We're open for guided ghost hunts, lantern tours, and private paranormal investigations at the Village of Historic Rugby all year long. We offer them all week. And now we're offering something kind of special during the closed months where we give our after dark tours during the day. We also are offering private paranormal investigations and guided ghost hunts during the day as well. We've had a few folks take advantage of those lantern tours. It's the same walk that we do at night. We're just doing it during the day. And, both the jail and Rugby are active during the day. It doesn't have to be nighttime. And both of those locations are pretty quiet as far as their surroundings go. They don't have a lot of noise contamination and stuff during the day as well. So during the month of February, we will be offering daytime stuff there at Rugby as well as at the jail. In fact, this past weekend on Sunday, we had a guided ghost hunt at the jail that went from 1 in the afternoon to 4 in the afternoon. And we had some pretty crazy stuff. We're going to be releasing that evidence that was captured during the guided ghost hunt. It was probably, I would have to say, one of the most interactive conversations that we've had with one of our resident inmates. I mean, as far as I know, as far as myself and Christy goes, is probably one of our most interactive conversations. So we look forward to releasing that session here in the next little bit. So yeah, definitely check that out. You can find more information if you go to our website. If you go to our Facebook page, just reach out to us and we'd be happy to hook you up. Also, during the winter months, up until the time change, which takes place on March 9th, we are having, let me make sure I get the times right on here. We are offering extended paranormal investigations at the jail. You get 2 extra hours for the price of, so you get 8.5 hours on the investigation for the price of 6.5 hours. And that special runs up until March 9th, and that's for the jail only. We've had a lot of teams take advantage of this so far, and we have a lot of investigations booked for February, but we do still have dates available, and we're offering it every single night of the week. Normally, we just offer them on Thursdays through Sunday nights. We're offering every single night. We just ask that you give us 3 days advance notice when you're doing your booking, but you'll see all that online. So you can book that on our Historic Scott Co. Jail website, where you would typically book your investigation, but you just get that extra time during the dark months is what we're calling that. So that's just a few of the things that we've got going on here at the jail. We're going to be offering more motorcycle rides. We had a meeting on Monday where we sat down and went over at least 5 different motorcycle routes. So if you are a biker and you want to join us for one of our special motorcycle rides at the jail and through Ghost Biker Explorations, we are so excited to be doing this because we're partnering with several other museums and several other historic locations. And we've got a couple special things planned for these rides where we'll be giving you the tour on them. So we can't wait to announce those. We're going to try to announce them early. I know sometimes as a biker, you want to wait and book the date as it gets a little bit closer because you don't know about the weather. But we're going to factor in rain out dates on that so that whenever you book, if by some chance it rains, we're already going to have a rain out date factored into that. And we're also planning to do at least one motorcycle ride a month that you can be a part of. So pay attention to the Historic Scott County Jail pages as well as the Ghost Biker Explorations page. We'll be sharing all that stuff out there as well. We got a few more people who have tuned in on the show here, so just want to say hello to them. Let's see. Ronnie says, everything looked great when we were there. Looking forward to coming back soon. Thanks, Ronnie. We do appreciate that. But we're going to definitely have more for you when you come. Hey, Mark, thank you so much for tuning in. We got our friend Michelle from down there in southern Alabama. Hope you guys have unfroze from all the snow and stuff that was falling down in the area. Such a weird time right now with all this weird weather that we're having. I know if you wanted to see snow on the beach, I think this past week was the time to do that. Hello to our friend Alan May up there with Bedford Paranormal. And let's see here. Mark says, I'm trying to investigate the jail in Brushy Mountain 2 this year. Fantastic. Definitely those two locations. We are 40 minutes from Brushy Mountain. And interesting fact that some of you that have been to the jail know, others might not know this, but Brushy Mountain was where we sent our state and federal inmates. That was our prison that we sent them to. And because it is so close, so if you committed a crime and you went to court and got sentenced to federal prison, you would be sent to Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary from our jail here. So there is that connection, and we have actually had some of our spirits who spent time, or our resident spirits that are there now, spent time in the jail, or excuse me, at Brushy Mountain at one point or another. They've answered that in our questions, and we've been able to go and validate that through some of the history there. So it's a pretty cool connection. I definitely recommend investigating Brushy. And at some point, I'm going to re-air my episode where I investigated Brushy, and we'll talk about that and break that down as well. Okay, so that's all for the jail and rugby that I was going to mention. Like I said, tonight we're just going to kind of be chatting. I'm wanting to promote several different events and locations that are coming up here. And thankfully, we've got a lot of Bedford Paranormal and the folks that do one of the conventions that I'm going to be talking about here in a few minutes. So let's see. We're just going to kind of do it in order here of the events and stuff that's coming up. So the first event that's coming up that we're going to be attending, both myself and my business partner, Dr. Christy Sumner, is Vet City Con. And I'm going to try to have Chad on. We had Chad on the Jailhouse Informant podcast at the end of December, just before New Year's. And he was putting on two different events. One of them was the Offbeat True Crime Convention. We were signed up to go to that, but we had crazy snowfall and ice here, and we weren't able to get to it and attend, which always sucks. But the other convention that he has invited us to be a part of is Vet City Con, which will take place on March 29th, and it's going to be in Bowling Green, Kentucky at the National Corvette Museum. And if you like true crime, if you like horror or pop culture, paranormal, this is definitely the convention for you. I know they've got a lot of celebrities that are going to be there, as well as people in that's involved in costumes and cosplay, that sort of thing. So this is going to be apparently, I think they've been doing this one for quite a few years, and apparently this is one they have several thousand that usually attend the event. So if you go check out, I'm going to include the link here. Let me just include this on the comment section here. If you go on, there we go. If you go on and click on the link there, this will take you to the Facebook page. I think they encourage you to get the tickets in advance, but they do sell tickets at the door. But we'll try to have Chad on before this event. This doesn't take place until March 29th. So we'll try to have him on here and have him highlight this event, because this will be my first time attending this one. But there's a lot to do in Bowling Green, and it's such a historic city. And while you're there, you can go on down and visit Franklin, Kentucky, and visit some really cool historic sites in the area. I love it when you're traveling to a place and there's all these other cool places that you can stop at along the way. So that's going to be taking place there in March. And then fast forward on to April, and we've got Enigma Cons, which is going to be taking place at St. Albans. So I'm really excited about this one. This is going to be my 4th year. Oh my gosh, everybody's messaging me right now. This is going to be taking place, this is my 4th year to have the honor of being able to attend this event. And I mean, St. Albans, need I say more? I mean, that location is just so much fun to go and visit and investigate in and of itself. And then you couple that with a really cool convention and event. Nobody puts on an event as good as Bedford Paranormal with their Enigma Cons. This event has been successful. I think this is, what is it, Ronnie? Is this like the 7th or 8th year that you guys have done this convention? If you're still on, let me know. I know they had to end up taking a break last year and didn't know if they were going to come back, but by popular demand, okay, Ronnie says that this is their 8th year doing this. And so, by popular demand, they brought it back, and we were really glad that they did, because I can just speak from experience. This was a whole lot of fun. And typically what they do is the event, it runs all day long there. You can come in, you can see some really great vendors. You can listen to some awesome speakers, people who have been in the paranormal field for a long time. I mean, I can't tell you how honored I am to be beside such folks as Copperhead, with he's from Tala, Pat O'Keefe, her podcast that she's doing now, as well as her speaking events that she's done, and Steve Dills there with Hanover Tavern, and of course Glider. And that's just scratching the surface of some of the folks that's going to be there. And so they're going to be talking about different topics, and then they're going to top that off with a very cool investigation of St. Albans that's going to take place there. So my first time actually visiting St. Albans was doing it through Enigma Cons. And Mr. Alan May, who's there in the audience there, he showed me around and filled me in on the history. And then, of course, getting to meet Marcel and the work that she's done to keep that place up and make it accessible to the paranormal community, as well as the regular community, being able to come in and experience the paranormal as well as the history, is just top notch. So I highly recommend you guys, if you're looking for a event to do early this year, I definitely recommend you checking that out. I'm looking here to find the information. If you go on to stalbansvirginia.com and go on to their paranormal investigations, it has Enigma Cons 2025 information on there about the VIP ticket options, as well as the general admission options. And it looks like they're doing the free roam investigation, 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. Lots of different options on there. And I'm excited because it's my birthday weekend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, if you want, I was going to say, let me just copy this link right here. Here we go. Pardon me as I do multiple things at once here. Whoops. I want to make sure to copy this link in here. You can go on to the Facebook page if you type in Enigma Cons, or if you go to the public investigation page under St. Albans, that has all of the different information that this is a really, really long link that I'm posting, but it's clickable. So if you're going back and watching this later on, you can click on the link there and watch that. Just going to kind of look over the comments right here. Oh, thank you, Janet. I did do a live stream from there. I think the first year I maybe did 2 live streams, and one of them was during the day. It was a lot of fun, and it was just kind of walking around talking. Actually, no, yeah, I did 2 live streams that year. One of them was at night. It was an investigation. I think we were live for like almost 3 hours, and I did it as a solo live. I started out with the group and then separated and did the live stream. So you can actually go back onto YouTube and Facebook there. Maybe one day we'll, as Enigma Cons get closer, we'll break that down. We'll play the live and break that down, because we had some pretty wild things that were happening. So I'll definitely plan to do that. And thank you so much. A lot of really great comments from compliments there from Alan and Ronnie. Really, I'm really honored to be included in with those speakers. Let's see. Going back, Mark says, I'm from up here in Kentucky. You should come up here and investigate Waverly Hills and a couple other places. I go to them all the time. I love Waverly Hills. I did investigate that back in 2018. It was when right before I started Ghost Biker, when I was a member of PRGI, and did a live investigation there. And so I was actually thinking about this earlier. I haven't really shared a whole lot of the evidence that I captured when I was part of that team. And, I was brought on and trained by what I consider to be just an amazing group of guys. And so I'm hoping to maybe release some of that evidence and maybe go over that and talk about some of that, some pre-Ghost Biker stuff. Go on and show that. But I love investigating places in Kentucky. And in fact, the last couple seasons, not last season, but 3 seasons before that, we highlighted quite a few places in Kentucky. So always any opportunity that I get to go there. And Ronnie says, can we get the skinny on the new season? Yeah, I might talk a little bit about the new season here at the end of the show. I may talk a little bit about that. Remind me, Ronnie. We'll put that in the back pocket for right now, and remind me. And before we end, I may just do that. Let's see here. Alan says, if anyone listening plans to investigate at EnigmaCons, try the beauty salon. Most people miss it, but it is active. Alan is 100% right on that, because when he was taking me around and showing me and talking about the area, he actually took me down to the beauty salon. And this is one of my favorite experiences with him, because we were going down there and we were talking, and because I went up there by myself and I didn't really know anyone. I'm a little bit introverted. And so because I didn't know the area, I was I was hanging out there by myself. So I appreciate Alan taking me under his wing and showing me. But we went back there. This was when all the other groups were investigating. It was while COVID was going on. So they didn't have, they had kind of modified the event. And so while the other speakers were out investigating, we went back there and we heard some women talking back in the beauty parlor area. And so we kind of stood there for a few minutes. If I'm not mistaken, we also even saw light back there. So we thought someone was having a session. So Alan's telling me about this area, and we waited till they stopped talking because we didn't want to interrupt them. And when we stepped around the corner to apologize to them, there's nobody in there. There's no light. There's no sound, nothing. And that room, there's only one way in. The way you go in is the same way you go out. And I'll never forget that. I actually have my recorder going. And so maybe that's something that I'll dig out and play before we do before Enigma Cons comes up. But yeah, I thought for sure there was 3 or 4 people in that room having a session, because they were like laughing and giggling and asking questions, because we could hear them. Both of us heard it, disembodied voices with our own ears. So that was very cool, and I highly suggest that. And that entire weekend, I know that Alan and I both went back to the beauty salon several times, and I think if I'm remembering correctly, we had some pretty cool hits on the EDI Plus box while we were back there investigating as well. I know we had some pressure changes and some fluctuations on the temperature and such while we were back there. The next event that, let me see here, that I want to pull up and highlight. I'm trying to mark all these off as I go. So here we are we've just finished up April. So we're going to be going on into March, or excuse me, I can't even tell my months, on into May. And we're going to be traveling all the way up to Wisconsin for the Wisconsin Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Convention. This is going to be my first time in Wisconsin, and I'm really excited to be a part of this. I ended up meeting the host of the event, Barnaby Jones, there at Haygood Mill in South Carolina. And this guy just put on such an amazing presentation on cryptids there at the mill. And so we got to talking afterwards, and he invited me to be on his podcast, which was Wisconsin Caps. And it was such a fun show. And then he invited me to be a part of this convention. So I'm extremely excited about this. They're going to be having a Bigfoot hike there on that Friday night, as well as a VIP dinner. And then on Saturday, they're going to be having the event. And then on Sunday, they're doing the investigation. They're breaking up the investigation into 2 parts. They're doing a small group, I believe, from it's either noon to 4 or 1 to 4. And then they're doing another one from I believe it's from 5 to 8 or 5 to 9. I can't remember on the investigation. I don't believe I'm going to be able to attend that because I'm going to be traveling back on that Sunday. But I'm definitely wanting to be a part of the Bigfoot hike that's going to take place on Friday night. So lots of really cool information on this. Let me pull up the other page right there, where you can actually go and purchase your tickets. It's got all the information broken down. So it's in Appleton, Appleton, Wisconsin. And they've got where you can stay there at the DoubleTree. I think they've got a room block, but this is the first year that they're doing it. And so here's the breakdown. You have Friday night VIP meet and greet dinner and Bigfoot expedition in North Central Wisconsin with Barnaby Jones, myself, Scott and Hannah Violet, Stacy Brown Jr. And then on Saturday, the vendors, speakers, Bigfoot documentary, psychic gallery reading. And then we've got the speakers. I'll be part of that. Looking forward. I'm friends with several of these people on Facebook, but I'm so excited to be able to meet them in person. And then on Sunday is the paranormal investigation. Looks like they've announced the location. It's Gainer's Tavern, which is Bean Snappers. And from what I've been reading and hearing and looking at the videos that Barnaby put out, it's a cool location. So if I can maybe go in and stay an extra day, I might try to be part of that. But it looks like I'm probably, since that's Mother's Day weekend, going to be traveling back on that Sunday. So because it's about a 14-hour drive for me, so it's going to kind of be a long weekend. But you've got, let's see here, they've got the location and then the tickets. Very, very reasonably priced tickets to do the expedition and the dinner. And you can get the tickets. I suggest get them in advance. They are selling them at the door, but you get a little bit of a discount whenever you do them on here on the page, or I mean on the online. The event starts Friday at 5 on May 9th and runs through 9 p.m. on Sunday, May 11th. So it is Mother's Day weekend. And looks like you can get a virtual ticket where the event is being live streamed online. So it looks like you can do that as well. Let's see here. Let me go on here and make sure. So I'm going to share this link to the cryptid event there in Wisconsin. Put that on. Like I said, some of these links are just a little bit longer, but if you go and you can click on that, and what we'll do is we'll update all the show notes as well with all of this information. So gonna kind of look here at the comments. Hello to James Brady. Thank you so much for making it on the show here. Ronnie Anderson says St. Albans' secret is to investigate off the beaten path. Big building. I highly agree with that. Because it's one of those places you can have a lot of people in there and you never run into anybody. Jolly, I definitely suggest going there from here. It's about a 4-hour drive, so it's not bad at all. And I definitely recommend going and checking that one. Nancy says, I can picture those women chewing gum and smoking cigarettes. I know she's talking about in there in the beauty salon. And of course, all the gossip. It's interesting because Alan and I mentioned that whenever we were talking to Marcel that night, and she said she's heard voices and such coming from down in that area as well at times when she's been the only one in the building. Hello to Gwen Johns. She is Reverend Shane's producer there on his show. Got to chat with her a little bit. We're going to have her on the show as well coming up. So thank you so much for tuning in there, ma'am. And Nancy asks, how's your mom doing? Mom is doing great. That's also been kind of another reason why I've been spotty there with the show. The last show that we had, my mom was having surgery the next day, and so she had the surgery, and she's doing very, very well. Thank you so much for everyone that's asked about her, and for everyone that's sent prayers and good vibes and all of that. That's always appreciated. That's one of the reasons why I am here where I am now, is excited to move back to be closer to my mom. And with that has brought so many blessings and opportunities to, be working at the jail and doing all this, starting Christy and I starting our own company and everything. So it is a true blessing to be able to be here, be close to her, and honestly, to be able to see her on a daily basis. I absolutely love that. And again, thank you so much. So I want to talk just a little bit. So that event is coming up, and right now, that pretty well takes care of the first 5 months of the year. Probably going to be having a little bit more picking up as we get closer. Again, we'll have some more motorcycle rides. We've got some events at the jail and such that we've got going on that we'll be announcing. But more events than you can shake a stick at and plan to attend. We do have one more that was it's just been announced this week. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. And that is Goblin Con. And that's going to be taking place October 17th and 18th. And so you're going to want to go ahead and mark your calendars now for that. again, anyone that's into cryptids, this is another Kentucky event. I got to say, Kentucky, I love the fact that they've done their After Dark passport and the fact that they really embrace the paranormal and the cryptid scene for, for their state. What's cool about it is a lot of these small rural communities, it's a great way to get people to come to those areas. So if you've heard of the Kelly Little Green Men or the Hopkinsville Goblin, this event actually took place in Kelly, but Hopkinsville is right there. So this event is being put on by Visit Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Love doing these events that are sponsored by the actual community itself because, it's a legit event because they've got the backing of the community there. This one, like I said, there's going to be a whole lot involved with that, and it's actually going to be starting for the VIPs on Thursday night, and it's going to be running through that Saturday. They've got a lot of different things planned. I don't think they've officially announced, but they will have regular tickets. They'll have VIP tickets, some workshops. They're going to have speakers. I'm going to be presenting at that event, as well as both Christy and I are going to have booths. She's going to have a booth for historic rugby as well as Soul Sisters, and I'm going to have a booth for the historic Scott County Jail and for Ghost Biker. But I'm a little bit more tied to this one than some of the others. I was asked to design the logos for this, so extremely excited and honored about that. We will have Eric Freeman Sims from the Night House on to talk about his part in this. He's the event coordinator for the event. But as you can see, this is the 70th anniversary of the Hopkinsville Goblin. And I'm just going to pull up a few things here. So a lot of people, some people know this, some people don't. Kind of segueing into, moving back home here. I spent 21 years of, I guess you could say, my professional career as a marketing executive in the corporate world. And honestly, I'm so thankful to be out of corporate. You have no idea. But I spent 21 years as a marketing executive, and I did graphic design, public relations, I was a marketing director, and absolutely loved it. And so I've been doing freelance for, I guess, almost 25 years now, doing freelance. And so let me pull this up. So I was excited when they reached out. So I've done a lot of flyers, brochures, logos, that sort of thing for paranormal events, paranormal teams, as well as large-scale companies. I mostly work with large-scale companies on my freelance, but it's been exciting to be able to do some of this with these different conventions. And so, like I said, I was really excited whenever I was asked to do this. And what I did was I ended up using the police sketches to create the goblins. So we'll talk a little bit more about GoblinCon itself. But again, this is their official logo. It's a UFO and Paranormal Expo, but it's not just about UFOs. They're also going to have, I think they're going to have a UFO panel, a cryptid panel, and a paranormal panel, and speakers from and vendors from all three of those genres on there. So this is going to be the official logo, and then this is their secondary logo that they're using on several different things. Whoops. And so what I wanted to do with this was, because this happened in 1955, I really wanted to use, so we used the actual goblins, but I also wanted to kind of give it that 50s Jetson type look to keep it in the same era the actual event happened in. So this is their secondary logo, and then this is the artwork for their 70th anniversary. So they're actually doing two different events. One is going to take place on the 70th anniversary, which is their August 21st through the 22nd, because it did happen there on those dates in 1955. And then the other event is going to take place in October, which we had up there on the screen just a few minutes ago. So excited about that. And then the other location that I wanted to highlight that I had the opportunity to work on their artwork here not too long ago was the Dr. J.J. Polk house. And if you follow our friend Brandon Alvis there from Haunted Discoveries, he's been talking about this. This is his location. He purchased the J.J. Polk house, which is there in Perryville, Kentucky. He's opening it up as a museum as well as a paranormal research center. And he reached out to me and asked, he liked the work that I had done with the historic Scott County Jail and wanted me to design a logo that encompassed the house, the apothecary, and really his vision that he wanted to have. And he really wanted to go with that Harper's Weekly look because it would have taken place. Polk was a doctor during the Civil War, and so I felt like that was what I was trying to capture with this, and he felt like that this captured what he wanted the museum to look like. So, whoops, let me pull this other. So that was their primary logo. And then, of course, the secondary logo here that we did. Always try to do, a primary and secondary logo. The secondary logo actually encompasses Dr. Polk himself. And so they can use those on various different marketing pieces. Really excited for this location to open up. They're going to be opening hopefully sometime here in 2025. I know if you will go on and follow his Facebook page, I'm going to put that link. On there. If you go on, follow his Facebook page here, you can keep up with all of the cool stuff that that Brandon Alvis is doing with this location and preserving this history and opening it up to the community as well as to the paranormal community at large. So yeah, just wanted to take a few minutes and show you why I've been so busy and not been able to do my show on a regular basis. I've been trying to really catch up and do a lot of this freelance work during our closed months. So thank you for indulging me on that. If you do have a logo, website, or a marketing need, reach out. I'd be happy to help you. I can get you some pricing on that. We can get you set up with something kind of cool, hopefully. Okay. Now, so I had said earlier on that we were going to talk a little bit about my first episode of Ghost Biker Explorations. Some of you have been following since the very beginning. Some of you maybe just met me during some of the later seasons, or some of you didn't even know that I do Ghost Biker, and we met through the historic Scott County Jail. Ghost Biker was originally formed out of a love for history, historic preservation, restoration, and of course motorcycles and travel. And so when I first developed and created the series here, it was really to gain awareness of these locations through paranormal tourism. And so the premise of the show, there's always some type of interesting story about why we're there, interesting facts about the area, and then, of course, the paranormal investigations. This episode is one of my shorter episodes. It was the premiere there, kicking off the season, and it was from one of my favorite places. This is honestly one of my favorite episodes. And again, it was truly for what Ghost Biker was created for. I always tell people, that if you take a map, close your eyes and touch anywhere on that map, I guarantee you, it doesn't matter if it looks like it's out in the middle of the nowhere, there's going to be somewhere very close by that has an interesting story. And so, Cleveland, Tennessee is no different. In fact, Cleveland, Tennessee is known as the Halloween capital of the United States there. And part of that is because of their Tall Betsy festival that they do there for their block party at Halloween, which we'll talk about Tall Betsy on another episode. But the story behind the Bleeding Mausoleum is such a really cool legend and a really cool story that is unique to that area. People around the country have actually heard of the Bleeding Mausoleum, and it is truly haunted. It was a simple investigation of. That's one of the things I love is just the little small place there. You're not having to cover a lot of ground. Sometimes as a solo investigator, it's a little harder to cover somewhere like St. Albans, in an episode, but or in a live episode at least. But the Bleeding Mausoleum is really what Ghost Biker was, how it was created and developed. Now, we do cover a lot of the lesser known locations, which you've seen in the past 2 seasons where we covered antique stores and museums. Those were lesser known locations. And really, this is why we're kind of trying to transition more back to this style of investigating in this location. So we're going to watch it. I'm going to be over here in the comment section, and we'll come back on. Like I said, it's only 13 minutes, so you're not going to miss, so please bear with us. We're not going to be airing a real long episode, but it's about 13 minutes, and we'll pop back on live and wrap the show up when this is done. So thank you all so much, and I hope you enjoy. Let me get this queued up here. Seven. Nina, come out and play. Is there anybody here with us? Every town has a ghost story that's been passed down throughout the generations. But what if those legends are true? My job is to travel to these destinations, explore them, and figure out the mystery that lies within. Hey guys, we are here in Southeast Tennessee, approximately 45 minutes from Chattanooga at the base of the mountains in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee. I'm here to check out the Craig Miles family and the Bleeding Mausoleum. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about Cleveland. I'm here on Centenary Street. This is also known as Treat Street. At Halloween, approximately 20,000 people flock to the city to celebrate the holiday, thus making Cleveland known as the Halloween capital of the world. It's also known as the City with Spirit. So we're going to check that out a little bit later when we do an investigation at the Craig Miles Mausoleum. Our story begins back in 1850 when 25-year-old John Craig Miles moved from Dalton, Georgia here to Cleveland. John was a wealthy businessman who made most of his fortune in the shipping industry as well as during the Civil War. After moving to Cleveland, John started courting Adelita Thompson, who was the daughter of Dr. Gideon Thompson. He was the local community doctor. In 1860, they married, and in 1864, they had their daughter, Nina. Nina was loved by the entire town. Our story gets interesting here. On October 18th, 1871, Nina and her grandfather was doing their house calls. It was supposedly, from everything I read, a stormy day, and they were approaching a train crossing. The train blew its whistle, the horse rears up, Nina's thrown from the carriage and is actually crushed by the cow catcher. Her grandfather was hit, but he actually survived. So Nina's death is only the start of the tragedy. Several years after Nina passes away, the couple has another baby. The baby only lives several hours and isn't even given a name. In 1899, tragedy strikes yet again. On a cold, icy day, John is walking out in the street. He slips, hits his head, and sometime after that, ends up passing away of blood poisoning. After surviving the heartbreak of losing all of her family, in 1928, Adelia is tragically struck by a car and passes away. Before we make our way down to the church and the mausoleum, which is a couple streets over, I think we're actually going to take a break and go grab a bite to eat. Before I do that, I do want to say, though, a lot of people ask why we investigate at night, and actually I do both. I've actually got some of my best evidence during the daylight hours, but because we're in the middle of town and it's really busy, it's going to be best if we do this one after dark. Okay, guys, we're here at St. Luke's Episcopal Church. We've given it some time, had a bite to eat. Town has finally quietened down. So I want to tell you a little bit about this church and the mausoleum. So this is St. Luke's Episcopal Church. Ironically, when Nina passed away on October 18th, that was St. Luke's Day. And back at that time, in 1871, there wasn't an Episcopal church here in the community to worship in. Nina's grieving father built this church and this mausoleum 3 years after she had passed away to honor her memory. Guys, this mausoleum is really cool. It's got 4 feet thick walls made out of Italian Carrara marble. The spire on the top rises to 37 feet high, and there are 6 shelves on the inside. All 4 members of the Craig Miles family are buried inside that mausoleum. Another interesting fact about this family's tragic history is that the grieving family had a bust made of Nina that was supposed to go inside the church in this little area called Nina's Niche. Well, the bust never made it over because it was shipped on the Titanic. The Craig Miles Mausoleum is also known as the Bleeding Mausoleum. Legend has it that when it rains, these red spots appear and it bleeds. Now, whether that's because of impurities in the marble or aging, or whether it's actually bleeding is up for interpretation. The legend goes that after each member had passed away, there actually became more spots, and they became larger and darker. The reason we're here is we want to investigate and see if it's true what they say. If you walk around the mausoleum 7 times and ask Nina to come out and play, we want to see if she's actually going to come out and play with us. Nina, come out and play. Is there anybody here with us? My name is Miranda, and this is Josh. And we just kind of wanted to come and get acquainted with you. We'll bring you some toys and some different ways for you to interact with us. We're going to see if we can get you to come out and play. Come out and talk with us. Come out and show yourself. We want to tell your story. Is there anybody here with us? My name is Miranda, and we've come to play with you, Nina. There's several ways you can communicate with us. One is through one of these little recorders. I just heard something, but I don't know what that was. We've got a recorder over there by the door, and we've got this one here in my hand. Just talk at that little red light. I'm going to sit down right here. And I've got these rods. Let me get them stabilized here, and I'm going to ask some questions. I want you to cross them for yes and leave them straight and uncrossed for no. Is there anybody here with us? Is there anybody here that would like to talk with us? If there is, cross those rods. Okay. Uncross them, please. Uncross them. Nina, is this you that I'm speaking with? If it's you, can you cross them? Okay. Uncross them, please. Is there anybody else here with us? If there's somebody else here with us, cross the rods. Okay. Uncross them, please. Am I speaking with John? Is J.H. Craig Miles here? I don't know if that's wind or if I'm hearing something from inside the mausoleum. Okay. Uncross them, please. All right. What about you, Adelita? Are you here with us, Adelita? If you're here with us, please cross the rods. All right. Well, let's try this. Is there an unnamed baby inside of the mausoleum? Is there a baby that passed away? Okay. Can you straighten these rods for me? All right. We've got a toy. Would you like to play with a toy? If you'd like to play with a toy, please cross those rods. Please cross those rods if you would like to play with a toy. Okay. All right. We've got a little ball here for you. Is it going to roll there? Point the rods to where the ball is located. I feel you pulling on it. Point them to the ball, please. You can do it, sweetie. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Okay. Pointing toward the ball. Can you straighten those rods back up? Point them toward the road. Point. I feel it moving. Come on now. You got this. You got this. Come on. Come on. I feel it. I'm going to point to the road. Point it to the road now. You've got this. I told you I'd give you some candy. You want that candy, don't you? I can feel you moving it. Good job, sweetheart. Is the playground making that work? Are you back here? You want to play? Are you at the playground? Do you want us to swing with you? Can you straighten those rods back up, please? Straighten those up. Okay. Would you like for us to play with you? We'll go play on those swings. You want to slide? After investigating for another 15 minutes, I decided it was time to pack it up and call it a night. There was definitely something at the mausoleum that wanted to interact with me. I'm not sure if it was the Cragmiles family or who I was speaking with, but one thing is for certain, Cleveland really does live up to its nickname as the city with spirit. Okay, actually, let me turn this light back on here. So yeah, thank you all so much that watched that episode with us. It was short. It's always kind of weird to go back and watch those old ones and see kind of things that I would do different or whatever. But like I said, I really like that because it was a simple investigation. It wasn't overrun with lots of tools. Just kept it simple with the rods. Mostly recordings was what we got, and definitely go back, listen to those with your headphones. You can hear it a lot better. We had to wait till fairly late to be able to investigate because they had there is the church is there in town. It's not far from Lee University, and there are some major streets that run right in front of it. So if you go during the day, it's nonstop traffic. We did that very late, so thankfully a lot of the traffic had died down. But let's see here, looking at the comments here. Thank you so much, Gwen. Thank you, Alan. I definitely appreciate that. And thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that as well. Yeah, so being able to share that story, because it is really interesting and unique about a place that everybody knew about when I first started working there in Cleveland. That was one of the first things when the guy from HR was showing me around. He drove me by the mausoleum and showed me that. And that story is highlighted in the book 13 Tennessee Ghosts and Jeffrey. It's one that's known all over, especially here in the Southeast region. So, and it is a very beautiful mausoleum. I know St. Luke's Church, they do open up the mausoleum for their Palm Sunday. I believe it's Palm Sunday. It's either Palm Sunday or Easter Sunday that they open up the church or open up the mausoleum, and you can actually go inside, which is fascinating. So to be able to highlight that, I feel like we got some pretty cool stuff. We did go and investigate a couple nights in a row to investigate that, and it was really cool. Some of the things that people don't know, we didn't have a budget for stock photography or stock footage, so we ended up, as far as some of the video footage on there that was that looks like stock footage, we actually created that ourselves. So it was really fun putting that episode together. my videographer Josh was he produced the episode and filmed with me. That was one of his first experiences with the paranormal, and he became a staple of the show for 2 seasons. And any opportunity I get to take him and work with him, I always look forward to it. So, huge thank you to him for helping me put that episode together. Really fun thing that happened. We did a episode release party. We did a day before the series was supposed to start. We had a party not far from the Bleeding Mausoleum. So we watched the episode, and then we actually went over to the mausoleum, and we did, what the little tradition that they talk about marching around the mausoleum. So we all went around the mausoleum. We had a recorder going, and really interesting thing happened that first night. We actually got, as we were standing out there talking, we got a kid's voice on the recorder, and it said hello. And when we were going back and listening, none of us that was there were 8 of us that were at the party, none of us sounds like a child, and there were no children present in the area, especially right there. And you hear it sounds almost like it's coming from inside the building. So I need to pull that out as well and play that clip, because that was pretty surprising that happened. But if anybody has any questions or anything before we wrap up the show, if they have any questions about the episode or anything, I'd be happy to answer those. Let's see. I'm going to pull up something here right quick. So, as you guys know, if you've been following the show for any period of time, you also know that I draw the locations that I investigate. It's kind of one of my specialties there. And this location was one of the first ones that I did draw. And that's actually how I fund my series, is through the sale of these prints. And so I did draw. It is 8x10 in size. I will have those for copies of those for sale at the different events that I do. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. I've got the watermark over it, so it yeah. There we go. Hopefully you can see it with the watermark on it. But like I said, that's how I fund my series, is through the sale of the prints of some of these different locations that I investigate. So we will have copies of that. We also have copies on the website there, or you can reach out to me on either my Facebook page or YouTube channel. You can send me a private message, and we'll get you hooked up with one of these drawings. So, shameless plug, I know, but a lot of time and effort and money goes into creating the series. So, anyways, I thank you all so much for your support over, the last 8 years. We're working on season 8 now. Those were the produced episodes there in the earlier season. The last 2 seasons, we did all live episodes, which has been a lot of fun to be able to interact with everyone and answer your questions right there on the spot, as well as investigate with you on these live investigations. So, looking forward to season 8. It's hard to believe that it's been that long since we started, and we will be kind of covering and talking about some of these older episodes again. And like I said, maybe even play some of the evidence that I caught before we started doing ghost biker explorations. I've done a lot of residentials as well as a lot of locations that I've not covered on my series. So it'd be kind of fun to go back and play some of those clips and talk about those locations as well. We're working on getting people lined up for the shows over the next couple weeks. So stay tuned for that. We should be getting back on schedule now that we're rolling into February, and now that I'm getting caught up on that, and that we're trucking away over there at the jail on events as well as new displays and such. So let's see here. Yes, Alan May does have one. He was I think one of the first people that got one of my Bleeding Mausoleum drawings there. So I really, really appreciate that, and appreciate everyone that's got some of the artwork. Hopefully new artwork coming soon. Thank you, James. Yeah, you'll definitely have to check out some of the stuff that I've got. Hopefully we'll have new merchandise too. I've been trying to work on some new shirt designs and some different designs for that. We do have some new stuff in the jail gift shop, but hopefully we'll have some more new Ghost Biker merchandise as well. Hello to Miss Sonia Thompson. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Nancy, thank you so much for, like I said, for always being someone that being a constant friend and watching the show. All right, Ronnie. I don't know how much I can tell because we're still pretty early. I can tell you that I do have a couple different locations lined up that we're going to be doing lives at. I'm working on one that I will hopefully be doing a live in February. I've just got to get the details of that. That should be a Tuesday night. Since those are my nights off, that would probably be when we would be doing most of that. I can't say exactly just yet. I don't know if I can give. Yeah, I should be able to give the location away whenever I go there. So we've got that location that's coming up, and that is going to be in North Georgia as well. And hopefully, while I'm down there, I may be able to visit a couple of the locations that we highlighted in season 7, a couple of the antique stores again. We're looking at, again, doing all lives, or at least the majority of the season will be live. I may put in there a couple produced episodes. I'm not 100% sure yet, because one of the things that I'm looking at, again, we're trying to coordinate couple of the locations. I may not be able to actually go live because they may be open during the time that I would typically go live at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if that tells you anything, tells you they either operate at night or are open very late. So a couple of those, what we may end up having to do is do those as produced episodes, but who knows? We might end up watching them together, kind of like what we did here. So like I said, I'm not sure how much I can give away on this because we're still in the planning phases. But hopefully that gives you a little bit. Like I said, I'm also hoping to continue the theme of the antique stores throughout the year. We will be releasing some of the clipped evidence and some of the evidence that's not been seen before. But yeah, Ronnie, definitely the lives, I believe, because it seems like, I love doing the produced episodes, but the lives are just so much fun. They're just hard because that's our busy season here at the jail. It's hard to travel as far as I would like to, because that means I have to travel somewhere every week during the month of October. So thankfully, this past season, I worked with my friend Sonia Thompson on a couple of those locations. So she was able to allow me somewhere to crash while we were there, and also, just working with these locations. It was a lot of fun to be able to highlight those. And like I said, I love investigating with you guys. I feel like we had some crazy evidence, and I felt like there was a lot of intriguing responses that I have no explanation for, um, especially when it came to the Ovilus 5, and then just some of the visuals that we had happen. Um, I don't know. To me, that's why I like doing this, and to be able to actually experience that stuff on a live, one, adds to the legitimacy of the investigation, and plus, as a collective of all of us coming together, because there's times where we had 30 people. The season before, there was a time we had 350 people on the live, and so to have that many people coming together, I feel like the collective energy really allowed or caused a lot of the activity that we were experiencing. Um, so anyways, just I will be doing lives. That is my plan, as best as I can, at least for the majority of the episodes. I'll know a little bit more probably in a couple months here, but I do know we will be doing a live, fingers crossed, in February. So, and a couple of maybe where I'm taught, or where I may be going to. I know one person on here does. So, anyways, it looks like, just kind of looking at this, that a lot of people enjoy the lives. So, and that's what we want to do. I mean, obviously, I'll investigate where I like to, but if I'm going to do a show, I want to do what people want to see. So, and what people want to do. And if people enjoy the lives, then that's what we're going to do. So, and James says that we did visit the antique stores when we were in Dahlonega a couple weeks ago. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. I know that Kim and Jared and Colby and Andrew and all of them at Gateway and Dipsy Doodle appreciate that as well. So thank you for doing that. That's a perfect example of what we're trying to accomplish with this, with doing the show, getting the word out, and then people going and visiting. So that really tickles me to hear that. So thank you, James. I sure appreciate you, and Kim. And thank you, Errol. Well, okay, so it looks like we're coming up on 10:30 Eastern time here. So we were going to wrap that up. I, again, appreciate everyone who has tuned in tonight with your questions, your comments, your ideas, and your suggestions. That means a lot. Thank you for watching the show with me as well, and kind of talking a little bit about the Ghostbiker, the early years, and looking back on that episode that really started this whole thing. So we will have more of that to come, as well as some great guests here during the first quarter of the year. So unless anyone has anything else to say over here, we're going to wrap this up. Nancy's supporting small business 100%. And as a small business owner, I know that's definitely one of those things that's truly appreciated. And if you guys have any suggestions or ideas of locations to cover, please reach out to me, or any suggestions on topics that you would like to talk about. I know there's a lot of buzz and a lot of stuff going on here in the paranormal community, and just in the world itself. So always want to talk about what you guys want to talk about as well. So, but again, I hope that everyone has a wonderful week. Come on out and see us here at the historic Scott County Jail when we kick off our February hours. starting this Saturday. We'll be open Saturday and Sunday, and then next week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So book you an investigation. Look forward to some of the Valentine's events that we're going to be having at the jail and at Historic Rugby. And until next week, oh, and by the way, check out our episode that we did during the 7 o'clock hour on the Historic Scott County Jail Facebook page and YouTube channel. We had Mr. Greg O'Brien from Fort Mifflin on, sharing about the history and the haunts of that historic fort. He even talked about how at one point in time it was used as a jail and prison up there, as well as it is the oldest operational fort there here in the U.S. So lots of history. So check that out. We had him on a little bit earlier, and we had such a fun discussion. So I know a lot of you have probably investigated Fort Mifflin. If you've not, it's definitely somewhere you want to check out. So anyways, until next week, I hope everyone has a blessed week, and we will talk to you all very, very soon. Good night, everyone.